San Diego Unified names an interim superintendent weeks after letting Lamont Jackson go due to misconduct allegations.
Dr. Fabiola Bagula is here, interim superintendent. Title sounds nice. San Diego Unified. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Let's get the elephant in the room out of the way first, because what happened with the firing of Lamont Jackson, misconduct allegations and everything else, you step into a difficult situation. How do you rebuild trust from parents who felt like this is a district who kept pushing transparency and accountability and good behavior? And now at the very top level, that happens. How do we regain the trust of the parents?
Yes, I agree. Good morning, and thank you for having me. And I think that the board, by dismissing Dr. Jackson, showed the transparency, showed the accountability necessary, and the demand for good behavior. So I think that that's a really important piece to continue. I know that I want to make sure that schools and students don't feel the impact of this, that we have continuity and stability with our work.
There were some folks who said, but he was there for decades, and there were reports that people knew about this, and it went on for years and years. How do we prevent that from happening again?
Agreed. And again, it's about establishing new rules. It's about making sure mechanisms for investigation are there. I know we have a really great department now with 2 prior attorneys that are going to help us make sure that we follow all of our Title IX regulations.
What do you want to tell parents and staff? We've spoken to many who are very concerned about what is happening. What do you tell them?
I tell them that my biggest focus and my biggest expectation is that schools continue to welcome children with joy and focus on learning. That's really the part that is supposed to be our job. And that's actually what I want to make sure that we continue to do, is that we are here for educating students. We're not here about all of the human behaviors that happen at a central office. That should have accountability and transparency as well, but we really should be about making sure that students are learning every day.
When somebody is a politician, if somebody gets into office, we always like to ask, what do you want to do your first couple of weeks? You've now stepped into the big job, and it's a big job.
Yes.
What do you want to accomplish, and what do you want to do the next 2-3 weeks?
I want to make sure that I'm out in classrooms, that I'm out in schools, that I visit with parents, that I get to know the community at large, and that they get to know me as a person and as an educator. Because honestly, I have almost a 30-year career myself. I've been both inside and outside of that school district. I've worked with 20 other school districts here in San Diego County, and so I want them to see me for who I am as an educator with a lot of integrity. I've actually jokingly said, I'll open up my personnel files, you can see anything that I have. I'm here as a devout San Diego native to this city.
Getting to know you will be one part of it. You getting to know the students and the family, another part of it. But what are some of the biggest challenges facing the school district? What's the first thing that you're going to tackle?
Well, the first thing is actually the student learning. So I'm really proud of this work. Most of the time, schools, districts, and then even boards have different goals. I was a principal for close to 10 years, and it was really frustrating to see that a school district would have 30 to 40 goals, because as you know, when you have 30 or 40 goals, you don't reach most of them. And for the first time, school district and board members voted to have goals and guardrails that are all aligned. The schools have the similar goals, the district have similar goals, evaluations have similar goals, but there's also a mechanism for monitoring throughout. And so every few weeks, what you'll hear from us at board meetings is monitoring how we're doing on reaching those goals. That to me is a really big deal, because again, we should be focused on student learning. We should be focused on how much we're progressing. Every year should be an additional year of learning for every student. And so now we're keeping ourselves accountable and transparent by reporting that to the board every few weeks.
It almost seems like it goes without saying student learning is the key. That's what the district is all about. But it's harder than it looks, obviously. The talk now, and our Heather Lake is out in Lakeside, because every school district now, this talk of cell phone bans in the classroom. And kids have had cell phones now for years. And it's difficult and it's complicated, and people want to be able to get a hold of their kids if there's an emergency, this or that. Where do you stand on that in terms of the growing problem, quite frankly, of these kids having their phones in school, in the classroom?
So I appreciate that our school board actually adopted a social media policy, because that's really where the dangers come, right? The addiction to social media and all of the ways that gets impacted with student behaviors. But we do have already cell phone policies across every school. There is already usage policies. When I walk into classrooms, I see the policies up on the board, with even pouches for students to leave their phones when they come in. Now, what I'm trying to avoid is a variation, because there is variability. One classroom will have one rule, another classroom will have another. And so what I want to make sure, we have 2 student board members that have expressed interest in this. We have mechanisms for student leadership. So I want to bring that problem to students. Like, if we have this problem, how might we try to address it together? Because the one thing that I don't want to have happen is that students get in trouble for a device that we all use.
Yeah.
And so how do we actually show responsible, responsible behaviors and also respect for when we're trying to teach a lesson or learn. So I'm going to go actually at it from students help us figure this out, and then parents help us figure this out, what would make sense.
Lastly, I wanted to talk because we just had extreme heat like a week or two ago, and then school started earlier than ever, August 12th this year. How do we stand on air conditionings in every classroom? I think like 15 years ago, there was a bunch of money from taxpayers, and the district was supposed to have every classroom air conditioned. That hasn't happened. Where do we stand on that?
I agree. We need to continue to improve those efforts. And you're right. It was very hot. It was probably one of the hottest weeks, right, to have schools and systems. And I know that our folks were really busy out there in classrooms making sure that the air conditioners worked, but we weren't at 100%. And I was actually just watching the news saying, oh, it's going to rain. We better start planning for any classroom that flooded last year. We better start planning now, right? And so there should be ample planning in the months, I'm going to say about June or July, to start going and like taking a look at all of our units to make sure that they work, so that when we welcome students that they're not in those conditions.
That's what I was saying. It's a big job. It's a lot of work. When does the district decide who will be the permanent superintendent, and are you interested in that job?
I believe the school board said they were going to discuss the efforts right around December.
Okay.
I am interested, and so whatever they decide to do, I will be a part of this focus.
Dr. Fabiola Bagula with San Diego Unified, we thank you for coming in and talking to us about this. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.